Good morning, everyone. It's Lori Staley, Addicted Stamper with Stampin' Up. It is 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, so it is time for coffee and cards. You know the routine. If you're here, give me a shout out, a like or a love, let me know. And I will get this shared over on my other page. Sorry, I just got a text as I came on, or not a text, a message through Facebook. I'm also gonna make sure my phone doesn't ring during this. Okay, let's see, where am I trying to go? Let's share this. Yes, that's what we want to do. How's everybody today? I haven't even stuck my nose out, although I did see the sun come up this morning. Oh my goodness. So I don't know if it's a nice day or not out there yet. Hello, Carol. How are you? Oh, good. I'm glad you're doing good. Yes, yes, yes. Happy Thursday. I mean, I was right on it this morning. I think it was just my grandmother clock was ringing as I logged on. So we're doing good. We got a good start here. Oh my goodness. No sun here either. Yeah, yesterday we had crazy storms again last night. Thunder, lightning. I had in-person stamp club and my ladies were coming in, but they said it was kind of bad to drive. So I don't know. I just know that at what 5:30, 5:45, when I came downstairs and looked at our temperature thing, it said the temperature was 62 with 92% humidity. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to like that, especially when I'm lugging all my stuff into the retreat house, right? Good morning, Thelma. But we'll see. My girlfriend kept saying, no, the temperatures are going to drop 10 degrees. I did not see that in the forecast. So I don't know. We'll see. But if it's nasty and humid, it's no better time to stay in and stamp, in my opinion, right? Oh, my. All right. We'll give everybody another minute here to log in, and then we'll get going. Anybody have big plans for the weekend? You know what I'm doing. I'll be at a Stampin' retreat this weekend and next weekend. This weekend I get to go. Next weekend I'm leading. So I still get to go, but I have a few more responsibilities than I do this weekend. But I have some projects I want to finish. Good morning, Betty. Hi, Carol. Another Carol. I have a lot of Carols. I love it. Oh, you have a reunion, Thelma. That's cool. That's cool. Yes, I do have a lot of Carols that watch me. I love that. Good morning, Sharon. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that, guys. It's working. It's working. I'm seeing some wonderful growth. I'll be stamping and reading. That's a good weekend in my book too. Hey, Marlene, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Betty. Appreciate it. I do. Yes, anytime you get to stamp, it's a good time, right? My mom used to tell us when we were kids, and it stuck with me, that on New Year's Day, whatever you want to do, you have to do whatever you want to do for the rest of the year. So if you want to see family, you make sure you see family. If you have a hobby you like to do, like stamping, you make sure you stamp. If you love to read, you read. And I kind of have lived by that. Although I can remember one year doing laundry on New Year's Day, and I said, no, I don't really think I want to do this the rest of the year, but I don't think that's an option, is it? Oh, you're home alone, Betty. Oh, yeah. I think was Joe going to be with Dick this weekend? Because Dick was going camping, I think. All right. So you know what these are. These are the just cards for this month, minimum $25 product order. And with that hostess code on my website, and you get these 5 card kits. No stamping, but all die cutting and embossing and all of that is done for you. So keep that in mind. There's still, what day is today? Today's the 16th. So we have 2 weeks left in September. Good morning, Valerie. And then I did draw this morning, because I promised that I never draw until almost right before, so that even people watching the replay have a chance to pop in and like, comment, and share. So I have these beautiful cards that we did on Sunday night, right? And the winner of these is Thelma. So Thelma, I will have these cards for you, and you can let me know if you want me to mail them or bring them to club next month. That's a bit of a ways off, so you let me know. I don't know where he was going, but he is not going now because Rick's going up to see his parents while I'm at retreat. So, all right. And then I had the sampler of the Blackberry Beauty paper. I always stumble over that one for some reason. This is so pretty. And Trish, I don't know if I saw you on, Trish, but this is yours. So congratulations. And then I have the in color dots, or square gems, I should say, from the 2022 in colors. So this is the Bumblebee, the Cinnamon Cider, Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight, and Just Jade. And the winner of that is Sharon Rowland. So Sharon, I'll pop those in the mail to you. Trish, I will bring your paper. I'll see you on Monday. So I'll have it for you on Monday. Yes. Okay. So congratulations to all the winners. Thank you so much for joining me on my birthday, and I hope you enjoy your gifts. All right. So today I want to play with a die that may be overlooked. Again, this is one of those standalones, as I call them, because they don't coordinate specifically with any stamp set. But they're called Picture This, and you have all of these circles, and you cut them all out at one time, and there's stitching around them. And then you have the rectangles, and they're stitching around them. Now, these are fabulous to use to cut, rectangles and squares, and, to create labels for your cards, for your circles. You can do the same thing. You have all that great stitching, but we're going to use them on card fronts today. And I've got 3 projects to share with you. So let's get started, shall we? Hi, Ashley. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So the first one, we're going to do a little spotlighting, if you will. And I'm using the rectangles. I am using the Wild Rose background stamp. Okay. So that's one that does the whole card front if you wanted to. I did trim it down to fit in there. And I stamped it in just the memento, right? Memento black. And then my happy birthday comes from Peaceful Moments. This is a carryover set. I think this might be its 3rd year with us, but it's a great greeting set. So if you don't have it, it might be something to check out if you're always looking for just that right greeting, right? And even the inside, wishing you every happiness the special day will bring, came out of the Peaceful Moments stamp set. And of course, it's purple, right? I had to do purple. So we are using the 3 purples: Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, and Gorgeous Grape. All right, let me pull out my card kit. So I did go ahead and stamp the background stamp, the memento stamp. And because I'm going to use my Stamparatus on another project that I'm going to share with you this morning. It's the best greeting set. It really is a good greeting set. You're absolutely right, Thelma. So I didn't want to have to, set and offset and all that. So I just went ahead and stamped the first one. That's just 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to have a layer of Fresh Freesia. And then I did use the circle die from Picture This to create my circles. So we're going to go ahead and do this a little backwards. We're going to stamp first this morning. Get our inside done. I'm going to do that in Gorgeous Grape, I think. And the whole reason is why? Because this card does not have a white insert, although it might if I don't do it right, if I get it crooked or something. But this way I haven't put the whole card together only to find out, oops, I didn't stamp straight. I always like to stamp onto my scrap paper first, because there is a chance that my block is, or my stamp is crooked on my block, right? So we did the inside, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the happy birthday. And it's really easy on this one to tell which is the front side and which is the back. So I always start on the front, but I never rule out the back if I need it. And I have a way big block here because all my other blocks are in kits. I'm going to keep it up just a little bit so I have room to get my my pearl under it. I have no idea why my view is so wide today. I tried to fix it and I couldn't, so you get to see a little more of my messy tabletop, huh? We're going to mount those two together. It's a nice long stitch too, and I don't know if that shows up on the camera. Some of our stitching is real short and close together. This one has a little bit more space and is nice and long. All right, so all the stamping on this card is done. We are now going to take the rectangular die and we're going to put that on there. I'm like, what happened to my Post-it note tape? So does anybody have a picture of this yet? The dies? Because again, it doesn't have a stamp set. It just has the dies, which is cool. It's fun. Lots of fun things you can do with it. I had like a dozen more ideas, but you know, we only have so much time. All right, so I'm going to run this through the die cutting machine. Remember, anything like this, oh no, that just popped loose, didn't it? Anything like this, you want to put it on your plate at an angle so that when you run it through, it's not going straight on. If you ever hit that plunk, I call it the speed bump. If you ever hit the speed bump, that means that you've probably put something like this through straight on, and when it first hits that die and goes over it, or even at the end, you'll hear a big clunk. So if you just turn it just a little bit, so a corner goes through first, then you avoid that. And then you have all these fun pieces that you can use on accents as other cards, but we are going to use them today to do the spotlighting technique, right? So I'm going to pull the tape off of here. I always go slow when I've taped it down over an inked image because sometimes it can grab the ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out in the order that I want them. The other thing I'm going to do, and we did this a couple weeks ago in Sunday night, is I want to line these up so the images match, coordinate, whatever the word is. So this is the way I'm going to do them, right? Exactly like that. So our first one's going to be Fresh Freesia, then we're going to have Highland Heather, and we're going to have Gorgeous Grape at the end. And that just makes sure that your pattern is consistent the whole way down through. It gives it a little bit of more interest. Fresh Freesia is first. I just packed my labeler because I'm taking my brushes with me and I realize I need to label this one. So I always start off the paper. You can always come back and add more, but you can't take it away, right? And of course, because we're going over memento, the only place this color is going is on the white portions of the design. So we're going to stop with that, close this up. I'm working lightest to darkest. I don't have a separate brush for every color. I have a separate brush for every color family. So ink won't be fresh from Gorgeous Grape to dip into the fresh freesia if you work lightest to darkest. This, oh yeah, it is Highland Heather. It looks really dark. And we don't see a lot of this one because I put it behind the ribbon, but that's okay. Then our last one's going to be Gorgeous Grape. It's like watching paint dry doing this, isn't it? I'm just going to get some nice deep color on this one. There we go. All right, so then we're going to put this together. And I want you to know that I did use a ton of dimensionals on the back of this. Now, had I not already packed it, this thought just popped into my head. We have the dimensional strips, the long dimensionals that are just in strips, right? The foam. And that would be perfect for this project and would have gone a lot faster. So I apologize that they're packed away and I can't get to them, or I would grab them and make this a little less time consuming. Because now it's one thing to put them on, it's going to be another thing to take them off. But I do have my black lines, so we don't have to worry. These might be blue, actually. We don't have to worry that I'm going to not catch one, right? All right. So we're going to grab our trusty take your pick. Oh, thank you, Ashley. That's very kind of you. I can usually get about 4, and then I got to take those backings and find my trash can, but I do keep them off my cats by doing this this way, because when you take them off individually and they just go everywhere. Oh, you got it to use on a special project? Well, hopefully maybe today I'll give you some inspiration for some other ideas with it. It is a fun die. I only had done one card with it since I got it. And I thought, well, we need to feature this in Coffee and Cards. So. And if there is a stamp set that you guys have and you're like, I just don't know what to do with this, let me know. If I own it, I will be happy to do a Coffee and Cards with it. All right, so we're going to mount this. And I know you're going, wait. Yeah, it's easier to do it this way. Trust me. We will mount this on here. And then we're going to come back in and put our pieces in. And I want to make sure. Yep. So that one's going to, now these go flat, right? So we got the height on the frame and then our pieces just slip right in there. Good morning, Linda. Find my corner. I think it's this way. Yep. Slip that one in there. And the stitching around the rectangles, even though it's hard to see with the design of the stamp, is both on the cutout rectangle that we're putting in as an insert and also on the frame. So you have the double stitching like we do in so many of our pieces, right? Like our stitched rectangles are like that too. Okay, so then I'm going to grab that beautiful metallic Highland ribbon. I'm going to center that in the middle. Try that one more time. There we go. We got it that time. You'd like more ideas? More ideas for this particular group or more ideas for some other stamp that you're using? Because I try to feature, you know, either a die set or a stamp set, end die or whatever, all the time in each coffee and cards. So like I said, if I have it, happy to try to show some designs with it. Why not crease that with the bone folder? I thought I did. That's better. This just goes on our card front. Do it this way. And then we have our birthday greeting. Now, because I already popped up on this card, I'm not going to pop up a second time. So I am going to put a lot of seal on the back of that. And then I have the pastel pearls as our embellishment. And we're just going to use one right down here. Of course, the light purple. You could also use the dark purple. Either one would work. And there we go. That is project number 1. So that's called spotlighting because we just colored a portion of an image. And oftentimes, you've probably seen me do this a time or two. If you have a very detailed stamp that you want to add some color to, but you don't love coloring, it's not your thing, whatever, spotlighting is a great technique because you stamp the image, you either cut some portion of it, right, with dies or with punches, pop it out, color just that portion that you've popped out, and then either layer it like you would have layered it on here if I was just going to do a circle. But here we did the rectangles, so we could also do a little bit of triple time stamping where we lined the images up so they continue. It was a continuous image. So that's project number 1. A couple different techniques on that one. All right, let's move on to project number 2. So this was one of the sets that I grabbed as soon as the catalog came out. It is another standalone die set, and you've seen me use it before. It is the iconic dies, right? I saw this in the catalog, and okay, so I love fairy gardens and things like that. And this reminded me of pieces that you would see in a fairy garden. So look at the purple. Let's see if I can flip this. That'll be very distracting to what we're working on. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. So we're going to do mushrooms and little flowers. And actually, my girlfriend, Christy, gave me a birthday card using the iconic dies, and it triggered me to pull them back out because I really, really like them, and I haven't been playing with them. These are the ones we used to create our own stamps with Fun Foam. If you remember that, that goes back a little ways in my videos. So we have all kinds of images in here. We have our 2 mushrooms, right, that we're going to use. And we have, oh, there it is. Thought I lost it. We have these little flowers, which is what I put in the small circles. The nice thing is they cut out all in one time. You don't have little tiny dies. The tinier the die, the more likely you are to lose it. Therefore, I recommend the magnetic sheets. I also recommend the magnetic bowls to sit on your table. Now mine's holding washi tape, but they are not going anywhere. So if you're like me, I tend to lay things down. So I try to remember to always put it in the magnetic bowl just in case. And I got that off of Amazon, the magnetic bowl. But I also think, oh, there's a, my nephew loves that store. I can't think of the name of it. There's a couple automotive stores around that sell them too, because they're really made for parts, to capture parts. So we have the bird, we have the tree branch, a couple flowers, this beautiful fern, and some leaves. And such fun stamp set, or not a stamp set, a die set, but you can make your own stamps so that you have coordinating images. All right, so that's the dies that we're featuring on that project. I'm going to put them in the magnetic bowl so I can show you the rest of what I got here. I have got my little sending happy thoughts greeting comes from many messages. Remember, I bought 2 of those and I cut the one apart. So I can use these messages anywhere, anytime, individually. I also have stamped a bunch of them and run them through my die cutting machine, and I already have greetings ready to go on the strips as well. But I do have a full stamp set that's completely together, so it fits into the coordinating die, And then I have this one that I cut apart. We're using the birch background stamp. Love that. And then we're using, on the inside of the card, we just have Let's Celebrate You. And that is from Hey Birthday Chick. All right, so let's get started. Bring in my trusty Stamparatus that already has my birch loaded. Oh, no, there we go. And we're going to use a case because we're going to ink this up. So I'm going to put a case under it so it keeps the plate with the stamp on it nice and flat, right? We don't want it to be at an angle. It makes it a little harder to get it inked well, right? So I did already go ahead and cut this out. Just laid it on my basic white, ran it through the die cutting machine. You can see the stitching, hopefully, around the edges of that. The cool thing is I now have all these circles. Now, some of them I used on the last card. One of them I'm going to use here, but I have all the circles in place to, I'm not going to try that. If I taped it on there, I could do that. I want to make sure I get this lined up, and I think it'll be fine. Move it over just a tad. So, and then, so my recommendation, and I was telling my mom this when she was here, I love using the Stamparatus for the background dies. I don't know about you, but that F block is big. It's a nice big block. Now, I think it's fabulous if you're doing a scene and you want to mount a lot of stamps at one time and stamp an entire card front. It is a perfect vehicle for that. Of course, so is the Stamparatus. Plus, you have all the other options to use the Stamparatus for. So, I recommend the Stamparatus for your background stamps, but you can choose whatever's going to work for you. I just noticed that I got a ton of ink up here where I don't want it. So the chamois is also your friend with the Stamparatus because you can take it right to the stamp. And I cut my chamois in at least 2 sections so that I have, ooh, I was crazy. Look at me. What the heck? I just inked that ink pad and I think it's just maybe a little too juicy, but we're good. I think we'll be all right. All right, so then we're just going to close this down. So if you're choosing between the F block and the Stamparatus, you know what I'm going to tell you, right? You have more versatility with the Stamparatus for your background stamps. And then this is just a whiteboard eraser that saves my fingers and my hand. Oh, nice. Perfect. Okay. And then, of course, we've got to clean the stamp. And the best thing about this foam pad that has the grid printed on it is that it is wipeable. So I can just take all that ink right off. Okay. Move that out of the way. Kind of sort of. And put this eraser away. Now we're ready to work. So I did all my die cutting in advance. And we're going to mount our basic, no, this is Smoky Slate that I'm using behind here. I am going to cheat a little bit. Because what I'm going to do is I am just going to put, get all those goodies out of there. I am just going to put my seal around the edge. I'm going to leave this open in here. The edges will keep it closed, but that's going to allow me not to have to try to line up, mount everything, and then come back and line it up again when I want to tape it down. If I don't put anything in here, in this section, I'm not actually taping those circles down. So really the only one that I have to go down below the circle die cut is the large mushroom, but it will let me do that if I just put it around the edges. This stuff is sticky, I'm telling you. And it always ends up on me. All right. So we're going to do that. Our top. Then we're going to take some ink. And I'm using Real Red and Crumb Cake, and I've got sponge daubers. I'm going to add some color. You can tap off if you don't want to get a dark spot. Mushrooms are kind of spotty, so if you do, it's not a big deal. Just add a little color there. And I'm also going to add some right around the gills, if you will. We'll do the same thing with the little guy. He doesn't have his gills showing, so we're going to stop right there, even with the mushroom. And then we'll pull in the Real Red for the mushroom caps. Now that I will probably pounce off so I don't go real crazy. And I want more color at the top. And then just have it fade out a little bit as it comes down. I think that looks pretty good. I say that and then I keep going and then I'm like, oh, well, now I have too much. And do the same thing with this guy. I do a lot of my sponging up off the table. I see people that do it like this, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And you certainly probably end up with less ink on your hands. Now, if I'm sponging the edge of a card, you know, to give it like a little border, I don't like to do it down here because I get more on the inner portion of the piece of cardstock than I want. So that I do hold up and do it with a perpendicular motion. All right. They look pretty good to me. What do you guys think? And then we have our little flowers. So I want to get those lined up. This guy's going to go right in here. I'm still going to have to trim a little bit of the stem off because it will come down into the next opening, if you will. And I don't really want that. Let's see if that's enough. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. So we're going to use a little bit of Tombow. But I think this is such a cute set. My glue went over my tip. Let's see if I can get it started over here. I might need a new one. Huh. It doesn't feel empty, but it doesn't want to come out. Okay, did I pack that? Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me grab another Tombow. Here we go. I didn't pack that cabinet yet. Yes, I take cabinets and pieces of furniture with me to retreat over the years, right? I started out going in bags and I'm like, well, this is crazy. Why not just take what it's in when it's here? It's easier to pick it up and take it and then not have to come home and set everything back up again, especially for 3 days. Oh, this is the little guy, isn't it? Yes. So he fits in here just perfectly. This guy is the one that we want down there. And then our little flowers. And you could use your seal for this. You could use your fine tip. But I've got the Tombow in my hand, so why not, right? The little flowers, I wouldn't try to use the seal. Seal doesn't like tiny pieces. Ooh. But fine tip you could probably use as well as the Tombow. Okay. Then we have our circle that we're going to stamp our greeting on. And that's going to get popped up within its little circle. And we're going to do that in real red. Dimensional. Love it. Oh, good. Good, good, good. You haven't used your iconic dies yet, Thelma? Is that what you're saying? Oh, they're so much fun. And then we're going to put this on a base of real red. That onto our card base. Keep putting the real red ink away. I wanted a fun font for the inside, and the little chickens have a great little font. So since I think this is a fun card. So yes, anybody who loves fairy gardens would love this card. I think, because that's what it reminds me of, right? But you can put anything in those circles. You can put like the what's it called? Christmas paws, I think, with the animals. You could put their little heads peeking out of the circles. You could put some flowers peeking out of the circles. You could do designer paper behind the circles. I'm going to show you designer paper behind the rectangles for the last project. And then I used the holiday rhinestones, which is one of the best deals in the catalog, in my opinion, because you get you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors, 3 different sizes. And they're great colors. And we're going to use some of the gold ones here. So let's see, I think I did a big one here. Yep. And a medium size here. Those cover the little holes perfectly. And then for the bigger one, I just took 3 of the small ones and kind of followed the placement of the holes that the die created on the top of the flower. I love when our products pretty much tell us how to do it. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the mushrooms. Love the fern and mushrooms. Yes, I do too. I like the bird too. He's fun. I haven't used the bumblebee yet. I think he's the only one at this point that I haven't used. So there's project number 2, using the circles and filling them up with some cute little images, right? So think about what you could put in your circles, because that is fun to do. And then I have one more for you. Let me move some things out of the way so I can bring that box in. And this one is for fall or Thanksgiving. And I used that beautiful Blackberry Beauty paper. Oh, that would be cute. Yes, that would be very cute, Carol. Now you know what to do, Thelma. Good. That's good. I love this one, guys. But you know, I love fall, right? And I wanted to show you one just using designer paper behind it, right? How cool is that? So let's do this one quick. And because we are using the designer paper, this one is quick. And I did stamp the greeting. That greeting is the only current Happy Thanksgiving that I am aware of in our catalog. And of course, it comes from Banner Year. This is a great set. It's got so much versatility in it that, you know, there's something for Halloween, for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, for fall. Yeah, it's a really, really good set to have. And they're nice little small images, so they're the perfect little accents sometimes. Blackberry Beauty, I think it is. I think it is, Linda. I'll try to look when we get off, and I'll shoot you an email or a text, or an IM. I mean, but I was on there looking for some things specifically last night, like the Whimsy Wonder paper, the pink and mint Christmas paper. That's back in stock, I know. But I don't remember seeing it, but it doesn't mean it wasn't there because I wasn't specifically looking for that one. So I will let you know. And then, of course, Pretty Pumpkins for our accent image down here. All right. Oops, I obviously didn't like one side. And that would be the one I didn't like. So let's make sure we get the tape on the right side. All right, we're going to lay that aside. Now, this one I did pumpkin pie, and this one I wanted to try and see if I liked it with the early espresso. Which one do you think? Pumpkin pie or early espresso? Because I can change it if we like pumpkin pie better. Early espresso is our card base, so let me know. Oh, and what else is coming back in stock is the Penguin Punch and the Halloween Punch. So both of those were scheduled to come back in November, and now I see that they're getting some in at the end of September. So that's good news. Pumpkin pie. All right, I'll switch that back out because I did cut a strip of pumpkin pie too. I thought so too, but I wanted some opinion. Give me your opinion, right? So I'm just going to run the rectangles through again, like I did the last one. And, you know, this die, even though it has the stitching in it, does not need to go through multiple times. You can just roll it through once. So I have that. Of course, now I have all these great rectangles to use for small images or greetings. So they go in my stash, if you will. I'm using the new Bark embossing folder. This is a 3D folder. And of course, we want the bark to go this way, up and down. So I'm going to lay that in there like that. And I'm going to run this through with the specialty plate and just the base. Remember, always run your dies through so that the folded edge goes through first. Even if you've got it, if the orientation is this way, you might want to put it in this way. This isn't horrible to go through this way, okay? But this is better to send this through first, but never ever send it through with the open edge, because over time you will cause that to offset and break your hinge. Now I can just mount this paper, right? So pretty. I love this. Cinnamon cider, blackberry bliss, and gold foil on there makes beautiful fall paper. And then this side is pretty too. If you don't like the glitz, you've got some great wheat design here. Did you see what I just did? I put the paper, I put that on the wrong side of the paper. I'm not sure there's an orientation to this. We're going to go this way. And then we're going to bring our, make sure I'm going to be okay here. Yes. So I would normally have put that on the back of this, but I was talking. So this is the front side. Yep. This one I'm just going to do flat. Be very careful when applying your adhesive to embossed cardstock, especially 3D embossing, right? That breaks the fibers down in the cardstock so that you get the deep impression. But this seal loves to grab paper when it's soft and those fibers are broken. Okay, there is, I better do this before it has a chance to set up. If you get to your seal quickly, you can pull it apart. But after a period of time, it sets up very nicely and it does not like to be removed. Go. That I am going to mount with a couple of dimensionals. I'm going to line that up right there. Okay. On the inside of the card, I did, if friends were pumpkins, I'd pick you. That's one of my favorite greetings that we have right now. Do that in cinnamon cider. And then I stamped these pumpkins in early espresso. And I know that when the blends first came out, we said, oh, you must use Memento ink. It is still on back order. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Karen. But you don't. But you do want to test, right? Before you start coloring an image, especially if you're coloring right on your card and you think, oh, I want to stamp this in a hair of sand. I don't know. That's to do faux watercoloring. I want to stamp it in real red, maybe for Christmas. Test it first because not all of our colors will stay. They will bleed with the alcohol blends. So just test, but you can use some of our different colors to use as your outline image. All right, so you guys have seen me color pumpkins before. I'm not gonna do a whole lot here, but I always follow the artist's impression to add my accents, right? So in these leaves, all these cute little lines that they've put in that leaf is what I use the dark with. And then I come back over it, fill in the rest of the leaf. I tend to use the bullet tip more than the brush tip because I personally feel like I have more control. But it is preference. If you are doing a really large section, you could combine and use both. And I'm kind of going in a circular motion all over the center of it just to bleed out that dark a little bit so it doesn't look like, oh, she just sat there and drew lines in it, right? Same way when I color the pumpkins, I put the dark all around where I think there would be shadows. And then I go over the edge with a circular motion to bleed that out a little bit. So I use Mossy Meadow, light and dark for the leaves on this. I use Cinnamon Cider, light and dark for the stems. And I used light and dark pumpkin pie. And I think it was still in the box. It was dark pale papaya for the highlighted areas. So that's how I colored my pumpkins, which I've already done, so you didn't have to sit and watch more paint dry. And we're gonna pop those up on dimensionals. I want to make sure he stays in place. Especially going through the machines at the postal service. All right, and that is straight, believe it or not. Usually I don't get that lucky. And then, you know, this is one of my favorite accessories in the mini catalog. I'm going to add some of those brushed metallic dots. I thought I was done. I put it in the box. Couldn't find my seal. And if you love coloring, you could stamp the pumpkin again and color him down in there. I think I put a leaf in this one. I did. I'm using Very Vanilla. I rarely use Very Vanilla, but in the fall, it's my color. It's my core color to go to. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. These are my favorite cards to design, I gotta tell you. Christmas is a close second. It's funny, I used to do ceramics and I love to paint Christmas ceramics. Now I make cards and I like to do fall. So there we go, guys. Those are our 3 projects for today. Using the Picture This dies, both the rectangles and the circles. And then remember, this isn't, you know, we keep this, right? We're crafters, we're paper crafters. We don't let anything go. But these make great faces for greetings or even small images. You can do another layer on there. And then you have a cute stitched image behind it. So I hope you like that. And if you do, be sure you give me a thumbs up, a like, a love, and please share the video for me. That does help me grow and continue to move my business forward. And I'm very appreciative. I am going to be gone. I'm leaving this afternoon. So I may, you know, if you text me or something over the weekend, and I may not get to it right away. But just remember, no Sunday night this week. We're going to be on Monday night at 8. And same way next weekend, since I'll be away next weekend as well. And just a reminder that if you have liked my business page, but you have not followed my business page, you want to do that as well. And I know you feel like it's double kill. Why would I have to do that? Because likes are going to go away very soon. I don't know how long it's going to take them to roll out. Sometimes it takes Facebook a while. But once the like goes away, you won't receive notifications when I'm live. I won't show up in your feed, etc. if you haven't followed my page. So please make sure you do that, because I love hanging out with all of you. And I appreciate each of you very much for coming and hanging out and watching. And I'll see you on Monday night at 8. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye.